Here I'm going to read you my story, which is called Don't You See Him? And it's a horror story. Yes. And for that is for a public of 18 plus. It is made up of 7 chapters and the story ends in suspense and in a to be continued because I wanted to leave that doubt in the reader and to him for a question the end. The chapter 1 it's called Under the Same Rain. Exactly 6 months and 12 days ago, Daniel disappeared. I remember because it was a Tuesday, the day after my 17th birthday. Since then, our apartment became a strange place. Ella, my older sister, stopped being that energetic person who always had a plan. Now she was like a sad version of herself, walking through the walls as if she were in a slow motion. But everything changed 3 weeks ago. I remember that Tuesday perfectly because it was raining so much that the drops hit in the windows as if they wanted to get in. Ella arrived wet, but with a smile I hadn't seen on her since before what happened to Daniel. "Cammy, you won't believe what happened to me," she exclaimed as she dropped her wet backpack on the floor. "I met someone. His name is Alex. He is different from everyone else." She told me that she was studying at the municipal library when the rain started, and that a boy sat in front of her and they started talking about books. He took an old copy of the book Cumbres Borrascosas out of his backpack. She He lent it to me, she said, carefully opening the book. Look, she, pardon, I'm sorry. Look, he underlines the passage he likes with a pencil. That way he doesn't ruin the pages. I took the book in my hands. The book smelled of old paper and rain, with a faint aroma of coffee. In that moment I felt relief. After months of seeing my sister dull, she was finally shining again. The chapter 2, A Seed of Life. In the following weeks, Alice joined our domestic life without being physically present. Ella began preparing meals for 2, always keeping portions in the refrigerator for when Alex visits. The evenings were filled with the murmur of soccer games on television. She left the television on the sports channel with the volume low. He finds it relaxing to watch soccer. She explained to me one day. He says it helps him calm down after work. One Tuesday afternoon, she arrived with a shopping bag from it. She took out a blue jacket, one of those oversized ones worn by construction workers. He forgot it at a coffee, she said, hanging it up with special care. Next time he comes, he will take it. One night I couldn't sleep and went out onto the balcony to get some fresh air. Ella was there, her back to me, talking in a low voice. "You have to understand, now's not the time," she murmured. "Cammy isn't ready to meet you yet." "Are you talking to Alex?" I asked. Ella turned around so quickly she almost tripped. No, I was on the phone with Mom about Laura's surgery," she said. I noticed her hands were empty and that was the first time I felt like my sister was lying to me. The chapter 3 is Down Dance. 2.5 week passed, and I still hadn't met Alex. Ella's excuse excuses become increasingly creative. He works night shifts in construction. He has to take care of his sick grandmother. He is shy. He needs more time to feel comfortable. And one morning I woke up thirsty. I went down to the kitchen and saw Ella in the living room. She was hugging the blue jacket, swaying handily as if dancing with someone. Her eyes were closed and she had a peaceful smile on her face. I felt so sorry for her that I quietly went back to my room, but that image or picture stayed with me. My sister's obsession with that boy seemed really strange to me, but I didn't want to hurt her. She was happy and that's what mattered. Her ex-boyfriend Daniel had already hurt her too much, and she deserves to be happy. Alex arrived unexpectedly, but he makes her happy, so I need to convince myself that I am happy for her new boyfriend too. Chapter 4. Alex takes care of me. Sunday was a perfect day. The sun was warm but not too warm, and Ella insisted we go to the park. Alex loves this place, she said as we walked. He says he felt at peace here. When we got to the kiosk, she wanted me to take her picture. Just then, a man in a police uniform approached us. Ella Martinez? He asked. I'm Officer Gomez. We are reviewing the Daniel Moya case. Have you heard anything or seen anything unusual lately? Calls from unknown numbers? Or maybe you have remembered some detail that previously seemed insignificant? Ella paled visibly but remained calm. No, officer, nothing since that day. And are you related to Miss Martinez? And her sister, I answered, feeling Ella squeeze in my arm. Have you noticed anything out of the ordinary? Any unexpected visitors? Any behavior that seemed strange? Before I could answer, Ella intervened, and her voice was a little higher than normal. My sister has nothing to do with this. Besides, I'm seeing someone new now. Alex is looking after me. Alex takes care of me. Alex? Could you give me his full name just to complete the report? Said the officer. Alex Gonzalez, Ella said quickly. But he works a lot, travels often. He is very prepaid. The police officer wrote down the name. He put away his notebook and handed us a card. If you remember anything, no matter how small, don't even think about calling. Sometimes the small details are the most important. When he walked away, Ella said to me, I'm so scared. Thank goodness I have Alex to protect me. He always knows what to do in these situations. Chapter 5. A Trail of Crumbs. That night, I couldn't sleep. Daniel's mention combined with all the weird stuff about Alex had me thinking. I decided I would have to do some research myself. The next day, when Ella went out shopping, I went straight to her room. The Wuthering Heights book was on her nightstand. With shaky hands, I opened it to the first page. The dedication read, To my star, E. Always yours, A. I recognized the handwriting immediately. It was Ella's, with that signature A curl she always made. She had written the message herself. I put the book back where I had found it and walked over to her laptop. The password was my picture. When I opened Netflix, I anxiously searched for her Alet's profile, and nothing. It was just Ella and Cami. I checked her viewing story and none of the movies she claimed to watch with him were listed. I went to the entryway and grabbed the blue jacket. I held it to my nose and inhaled deeply. I was expecting to smell like men's cologne or sweet or something, and instead of that I smelled earthy too, like freshly churned soil after rain. I left the jacket hanging exactly as it was and suddenly heard the key in the lock and hurried back to the kitchen, pretending to be making coffee when Ella came in loaded with bags. "Everything okay?" she asked. "Yes, everything fine," I replied, with a smile that felt so fake. "Did you find everything we needed?" "Yes," she replied. Chapter 6. A Hidden Truth. We are more and more close for the end. I found Ella in the kitchen the next day, preparing breakfast and singing softly. "We need to talk," I said, trying to keep my voice normal. "Sure, sis," she replied, without turning around. "Alice and I are going to plant some flowers in the garden today. He says he loves how they always face the sun." "Ella," I persisted, "where is Alex really?" She turned around wearing an expression of genuine confusion that frightened me. "What are you saying? He is in the garden. Can't you see him?" She pointed toward our small yard in the far corner, where there had once been only weeds. There was now a patch of dark, freshly torn earth, as if someone had been digging here. "There's no one there," I said, my voice trembling. "Yes, he is," she insisted, laughing as if I were saying something silly. "Look, he's kneeling right there, planting the seeds." I walked out into the garden, wobbly legs. Ella kept talking to me about how happy she was, how much she loves Alex, and the sunflower that will soon grow. I knelt in front of the patch of fresh soil, and the soil was damp and cold. My fingers touched something that wasn't soil, it was fabric like the jean, rough like denim. The soil shifted, revealing more jean, more fabric. I kept digging with my hands, faster and faster, until my fingers touched something cold and metallic. It was a silver belt buckle. It was the belt I gave Daniel for his 21st birthday. And he's always complained about how uncomfortable it was, but he wore it every day because I had given it to him. I looked up slowly. Ella was still smiling, staring at the empty space where I thought I saw Alex, caressing the air as if she were caressing her face. "See?" she said sweetly. Son, we will have the prettiest sunflowers in the neighborhood." That's when I understood everything. Yes. Alex never existed, and Ella had killed Daniel, buried him in our garden, and invented a person who never existed. Maybe those hallucinations had some connection to that corpse in the garden. I was there, kneeling in front of my ex-brother-in-law's grave, with the proof in my hands and an horror so great that it paralyzed my entire body. Ella kept talking about sunflowers and eternal love, while I felt the world crumble around me, still not understanding how my sister had been capable of doing that. Her words left me breathless. My sister's madness was deeper than I had imagined. Imagined. Imagined, yes. Ella, please, I beg. Tears in my eyes. This isn't Alex, this is Danielle. She looked at me with eyes that suddenly seemed totally clear. I know, sister, she said. That's why it's perfect. I ran out of that place and ran without stopping, trying to forget what just happened. I wanted to believe it was just a dream from which I could wake up. The chapter 7, running away from the truth. I ran as if the devil himself were on my heels, tears in my eyes. I ran until the pain in my side forced me to stop. I couldn't get the image of Ella caressing that pale hand, sticking out of the ground of my head. I got a text on my cell phone. It was from Ella. Where are you? I'm back. Let's make soap. I read the message once, twice, 3 times. Really? Soap? After what we had just found? I didn't know what to do. Call the police, tell them my sister had her ex-boyfriend buried in the yard and was talking to him as if he were alive. It sounded crazy. Even I was questioning if this was all true. In the end, I decided to go back. I couldn't leave her alone even though it terrified me. And as I approached the house, I saw the lights were off, which was odd because she had just told me she was making soap in the kitchen. When I arrived, I found 2 bowls of cold soap. There was a photo I had never seen before. It was a photo of Ella and Daniel, her ex-boyfriend, but not how I remembered them. They were hugging, smiling, but Daniel looked strange, thinner, with dark circles under his eyes, as if he hadn't slept in weeks. And in the back room, our garden was visible, the soil already turning the photo over. I saw Ella's handwriting, our secret forever, A. And said, our secret forever. But that wasn't what stopped me in my tracks. What paralyzed me was seen at the edge of the frame, each edge of the frame, como la punta, en la esquina, at the edge of the frame, a hand holding the camera, a hand with a ring I knew all too well, my dad's class ring, which he was wearing that day. But suddenly a noise in the yard cut my thoughts off. I went to the window and saw a figure in the shadow. It wasn't Ella. He was taller, thinner, and he was digging where we had just found Daniel.